Hi. Everyone's good today. Everyone's enjoying this day. Okay, so we're gonna play some games. We're gonna have a conversation because there's a lot of things that's going on in the world and a lot of social norms that I just want us to talk about and challenge a little bit for Black History Month. Sounds good? Sounds good? So I created these cards, and the game is called In This Day and Age. And so it's in this day and age, and then we take it, we turn it over, we read the question, and we'll talk about it. And so the whole point of this, I want us to explore how these norms affect us, but I want us to talk about how we can positively change it and use this to better our community. So I'm gonna start with the first question. In this day and age, in your opinion, how has social media changed the way Black men and women regularly interact with each other? And think online and offline, right? Right.
I think it's put out unrealistic expectations.
Like,
So it has people demanding more than what they actually can take.
like in the sense of just in general, or like relationships, or like,
Just in general. Like, you could say relationships, like expecting people to fly you out and this and that in order to get a conversation with you, or expecting the girl to just cook for you and stay in the house all day and not have a social life outside of you. It's like you see other people do it on the internet or claim to be doing it on the internet, and then that's what you want, but that's not what's right for you.
so like you think it trickles off from the internet? Do you think that trickles off in real life with regular everyday people?
I think it's different offline, and I think the perception of our interactions are different in person rather than online. In the way of like, I have good experiences. I feel like personally with Black men in real life. Now online, I feel like everything negative I see online is within a podcast, or it's like the 20v1 or Pop the Balloon. Like it's stuff like that that I see, and I think that we put those things in a bubble, and we're like, this is how we all are. This is how we all view relationships. But I feel like in real life, it might sound cliche, but I think a lot of us do touch grass. We do have standards to a sense, and it's not unrealistic standards, but there are people that do exist that do have those standards, but that's a certain caliber. I feel like all people with certain standards that we're speaking about, they're in a box. You meet a woman like me or you, we want substance. You want a plant all day. You want a husband, like those type of things. Like, we exist. Same thing with you, where I'm sure it's like, I want a wife, or I want these things. I'm not looking for like, yeah.
That's true.
Do you think people like us have to like change the way we do things on social media because of these norms, or not so much?
I feel like the things we do, that we do, is not praised, or it doesn't get the amount of attention the other things might get, I would say.
That's so true. That's so true. I have a podcast, and when you speak of podcasts, I noticed it like there is a very negative space with the 50-50 topics and everything that people are just expecting other people to do but don't do themselves. But my podcast, I just wanted to showcase how college students think, right? And so sometimes some topics do come up, and then sometimes you actually see, okay, it's not a question of 50-50. I think we're long past the 50-50 mark. Like, we know a relationship takes way more than just 100%, right? The cup has to overflow. And yeah, that's just been the whole goal. I think with me, I just want to show, the good and the bad, but just show. So people know that there's these stigmas out here that, need to be resolved. Right?
So how can we what can change to make this be better, literally?
Well, we know we're not getting on social media, so we can say let's quit social media, but that's just unrealistic.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I was telling somebody last year, I seen a lot of Black like proposals occur, because this like media tries to portray that our relationships are all toxic, but I feel like the black family does exist. I feel like black fathers do exist, black mothers do exist, and I hate that the media portrays one story and we take that one story and we're like, yeah, all black men are like this, or all black women are like this. It's like I don't know. It's like I said, it's that 20v1 stuff. It's that pop the balloon, and it's I feel like in order to change it, it's really just like change within yourself and just represent within yourself and your relationship for real. Because you can't help everybody. Yeah. You can't lead a horse to the water and make it drink. I mean, you can lead it to the water. You can't make it drink though. But I think as young black people, just strive to have a family and strive to be great parents, and I think represent within that. Because like you said, the 50-50 conversation is very tiring, because inside of a marriage, inside of life, real life things occur. You can be married and he gets laid off. As a wife, it's your time to go into, let's say, prayer mode, or you got to come in and I might have to pick up this bill or pick up that slack in that moment. That is okay. Don't let your toxic homegirls, don't let the media tell you that. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? We have to, it's sometimes it's 20/80. Yeah. We don't have a good day every day. Life happens, things happens. You struggle outside relationships, so don't think you're gonna get in one and life just gonna be a fairy tale. It's Alice in Wonderland. That's not how it's gonna be. So I would just say we can't help everybody. The amount of posts that you make on Instagram on your story about we need to change this and change that, everybody not with that. So I think just representing yourself, your family within your own space is what is the start to change. One start to change.
It starts with you.
I got 3 points. You hit everything on the nail. The first thing with the fathers being in the home. One thing I realized growing up with having so many positive male role models around is like you get the stigma online that black fathers aren't there and every black boy is like missing a father figure in his life, which is not true at all. Like I feel like all the men that I've seen who grew up as I grew up, right? They weren't old as I was young. You know what I'm saying? They're there for their kids, right? And then that brings me to this point. The family structure, the American family structure, the mom, the dad, the kids, the dog, the white picket fence, everybody wants that. But in the same sense with black people, right? That's not our family structure, and I realize that. You know, like we can still have that, and the kids can lead the way. Well, it's like it takes a village. The village is the family, right? And I think we got strayed away from that just a little bit. There's no community in a sense. So it's like, yeah, mom and dad are together. Yeah, the kids are happy. They got everything they need, right? But what happens when they go outside? Is Miss Parker gonna let the parents know if the kids are doing bad? Like, that's what we're missing. That tribe, that community. It takes a village to raise a kid, and that's the family structure. It doesn't have to be commercial. Like, mom and dad don't have to be together. You know, but as long as you have outstanding love around you from other people, and you're not searching for this thing that you feel has been missing, you'll be fine. I was watching a Spike Lee documentary about him making Malcolm X, and he was talking about the one encounter Malcolm wish he could have changed in his life, and that was when a white woman came up and asked, "How can I help the struggle?" And he said, "Well, racism starts at home," and a lot of the stigmas that we have start at home, right? It's not just, go help. But I think all these problems that we have, all these fabricated problems, because some of them aren't even real. It's just a sense of, if I solve this, that'll take care of itself, So I think we do have to start at home with having conversations like these with our, dang, we about to be old, so I guess with our kids in a few years or whatnot, right? That's one thing I had growing up. I had conversations like this, and it shows when you talk to other people. It's like, okay, you don't know how to articulate yourself because maybe you didn't have these conversations. So let's start practicing, right? But yeah, I think you definitely hit everything in there. I like that very much.
How do you think social media has influenced the way young people view themselves?
Ooh.
So we went from treating each other, but how
Right.
does it affect how we think about ourselves personally?
It allows you to build an avatar.
Right.
Like you can be anything you never was, right? Like you can make up this fake person in your head. Oh yeah, I'm him. I'm a rapper. Nah, man, you just Jimmy from around the way. How about you just be Jimmy? If Jimmy can rap, then let Jimmy rap. But you're not a rapper, you know. So, but doing that puts us all in the box. Like we all tend to box each other.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate the niche, the
Because
whole.
we pick up on each other's like personalities from the personalities that we think other people have. We pick up on those, or I think, I would say just like the influence. Some influences are not well for youth. It's because youth are like they're sponges. Like little ones, they're sponges. So they just anything you say, anything you do, anything you expose them to, they soak it in. Like immediately.
And it might not come out right then and there.
Right.
It might come out later.
Right.
When they're not even around you anymore.
Right. Or they with their little friend. It's different when they go to school, when you drop them off at school.
Right.
But
I feel like for this, it's like, I mean, we obviously know what the beauty standards and stuff, and trying to look a certain way. I be in the gym trying to get my natural BBL. So it's like, I feel like social media though, we already know it's damaging, but it does do some positive. But it's like, you have to be able to go through and figure out, okay, let me not dwell on this. I think like we have to really be confident in ourselves.
it's about having like an identity. And I think that's one thing my mom touched on when I was younger. Like she was stern on, you need to have your own identity. Like that was the main thing she focused on with me, was who are you? And you need to always know who you are. You need to be able to say who you are confidently. No ifs, ands, or buts. I am boom. This is what I do in a very like bold way. So I've always been like just bold about who I am. But you know, naturally as a girl, you're like, you compare here, you know, growing up to, and I think a lot of times as little black girls, we went through like a phase of like, no, never mind. But there was a time when like, I don't know, like when white entertainers were like at the, like they were here, especially for like Disney. Like, I always acknowledge like Raven Simone was like the first black girl that like paved the way for us. She paved the way for the Sky Jacksons, the Zendayas, but like just to see that.
And isn't that crazy? Because you're India Simone.
Yes.
And I'm Aaliyah Simone.
Yes. I always say something about them Simones. It's something, but.
This is Simone's.
Yeah. But I think, like I said, identity is important. Like when you engrave identity into them, they can be well off, as in like, oh, that person is pretty, but I'm not gonna sit here and compare myself to this person because I'm
pretty too.
Yeah, I'm. You know, and same thing with our boys. Like just when a black boy knows who he is, that's like I think that's like the strongest
The
thing.
ultimate.
Yeah, like you guys can like thrive when y'all know who y'all are. Like in leadership, just as yourself. And I think a lot of times having higher standards, knowing who you are, it also raises those standards for our black men, especially. So
that's a dangerous thing.
yeah.
That's a dangerous thing for a boy to know who he is.
A black boy to know who he is.
A black boy to know who he is. That is.
That's a good dangerous. That's like he's sharp.
That's
Like
sharp.
yeah.
That's
That's
the type of man that
excellent.
don't go for anything. Not everything.
Yes.
You know, a lot of things you won't be able to. And he's not liked a lot. Somebody who knows
Because
who
he's
they are.
honest.
He's brutally honest.
Yeah.
You know, and he says what's on his mind at the right time.
Yeah.
And he controls his emotions. Like I think anybody who can think before they do is a very sharp person. You know.
Yes. You can go far.
But you also See, because I walk around and a lot of people don't know who they are, right? So imagine being somebody who knows or have a sense of knowing who at least they want to be, right? And you walk around and you're filled with a group of people who don't know who they are yet.
Yeah.
It's almost like a prison.
Like lost land or something.
You feel lost being around lost people, but you know you're exactly where you're supposed to be, right? And that's like a damaging task to have, because then it's like, is it on me to help them find who they are, or do I just continue to drive away on my path? And then I don't know, it's like a back and forth battle, because the more you dig within yourself, it's like the more people come to you, and then you can't really decipher who's supposed to be here and who's not. It's like you just gotta let time be, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dangerous thing though for a black man to know himself.